Hello, this is Kamala Quali, and my background is in classical Chinese medicine and acupuncture, and also in somatic psychology. And today I want to share an experiential knowledge bite with you that can help you help your patients to find the answers for the next step for their healing within themselves. This is done by integrating soma and psyche with self-awareness, and it enables a person to consciously explore and expand a state of relaxation or comfort in the body so that it opens to a place of deeper wisdom and guidance. So not only does this teach a person how to calm and center the self, but it also teaches us how to access and trust that inner wisdom that comes from the deeper heart mind, from the Shen. And it's very easy to integrate this work at the end of a session when the needles have already been in place for a while and done their work, or when there's been body work and the person's already relaxed. So this knowledge bite is a counterpart to the other one that I did that's called Taking Your Musculoskeletal Work to a New Level. Because in that one, we looked at inner mental and emotional stress or stress patterns that often show up as chronic tension and pain in the body. And when the answer for the next step for healing comes from a centered, an internal and centered place, the person's often more willing and more motivated to integrate it into their everyday living, often more so than when the advice comes from the outside in. And so as practitioners, it also relieves us from having to give that advice ourselves. So we're going to follow the same explore, expand, and experiment heart-mind method that we did in the last bite. And this starts by encouraging the person to be curious to know more. And so in this case, I might say something like, can I help you deepen this place of relaxation to see if you can savor it and if there's any healing messages for you in it? And if I get agreement, I go to the next step, which is to direct their awareness to their present felt experience in the moment and help them stay there by asking study questions and using little experiments in mindfulness. They need to stay with their experience long enough so that the meaning becomes clear. And the experiment in this process, the mindfulness experiment, is going to be to promote the flow of qi by consciously allowing the movements and the sensations of the relaxed area to spread into different parts of the body spontaneously and see what happens, much like you might do in certain practices of internal qigong. And this creates an new inner body-mind patterns that enable a person to transform sympathetic dominant states like fight or flight into more peaceful parasympathetic states where they're in touch with some deeper wisdom. So let's try it. I want to invite you to feel along in this process with me, and so that you can feel it from the inside out, and hopefully you'll also get a message from your inner heart mind for your own healing. Let's start with a little shaking just to find that place of comfort. So close your eyes, do a little shaking, shake out, relax your eyes, your throat, your neck, shake out your shoulders and your arms, maybe down your spine, shake out your feet, loosen your joints. And then find a comfortable place in your chair. Just let yourself sit comfortably. I want to invite you to close your eyes so that you can turn your awareness inwards towards your present felt experience and listen to my voice. You might notice things that I suggest, or you might notice something completely different or nothing at all, and anything is okay. The most important thing is to just pay attention internally and see what happens for you. So as you look inside, let yourself find a place in the body that feels more relaxed or comfortable in some way. It might be in your eyes, your upper body, your throat, or it might be, maybe it's in your hands, the way they're sitting against your legs, or maybe the way that your back is leaning against the chair, or perhaps it's your feet as they're touching the earth, or the way the support of the chair beneath you. Whatever it is, let that place come into your awareness and stay with it for a moment. And first of all, let yourself notice any sensations that seem to emanate from this place of comfort, from this place of relaxation. It could be something like tingling. It might be a sensation of warming, of softening. Just stay with it for a moment and see if there's a motion to it. Sometimes there's just a slight motion. The muscles might feel like they're expanding outward or sinking back into the space behind you, or rising up in a pleasant lightness or a pleasant heaviness. Whatever it is, enjoy it for a moment. Enjoy it for a moment, and let's expand it a little bit into the realm of mood and emotion. Let yourself just notice, as your body's in this place, what kind of feelings do you have? What is your mood? Is there anything like peacefulness or more of a sense of well-being, of enjoyment, of openness, of pleasure? Stay with that for a moment, bathe in it, enjoy it. And at the same time, see if you can penetrate into the heart of that process, into the very essence of it, into the essence of this experience. And see if there's any message for you, any kind of a healing message that this place has for you. And then just let yourself notice what comes into your awareness. If it's an image, if it's a sense, if it's something you hear, something you remember. And then finally, you can ask this place, if you could speak to me in words, what would you say? If this place could speak to you in words, what would it say? And then take a moment, take as long as you need, actually, to get the information that you want. And then be sure to thank yourself, thank this deep part of yourself. And ask yourself, what's most important about this? What do I want to remember? And as you're finished, let yourself come back, open your eyes, and listen to my concluding remarks. Asking a person what's most important about the session and what you want to remember is a very nice way to complete and integrate any kind of a session, and especially a session like this, because the person will tell you their experience and give themselves their own homework. So usually at the end, I'll listen to what the person tells me, and I'll make a statement, a short, affirming, summarizing statement that sounds something like, so this inner place of wisdom is encouraging you to have patience, have a little more patience in this situation. Or whatever it is, whatever they tell me, I take that and I craft a short statement like that so that the person can hear it again from the outside in. And then I usually follow that up by saying, how did you integrate a piece of this into your everyday living this week? And when they decide that, I say, great, I'll put that in my notes and I'll check in with you next week. We can check in about it at our next session and see what's happened. And so in conclusion, I want to say that in this bite and in the other one, where we found that internal mental emotional pattern that showed up as chronic tension, we've identified two different parts of the self. One part that shows up when there's stress, and the other part that shows up when the person's more in tune and centered. So the next step is that we need to get these parts to communicate, because when a part of us is imbalanced, it's often isolated in its own worldview, and it really needs to be connected with. listened to, reevaluated, and often reassured from the perspective of the whole. And that's the job of Shen. It's very much like the classic metaphor that we learn in Chinese medicine about Shen and the other 11 officials who are in charge of the harmony of the inner body-mind domain. So if one of the officials is out of balance and is grasping for control, it really needs to be brought in to the presence of Shen so that the whole self can be harmonized. So I'm going to leave you with that. And I hope to see you again in another bite or in a class. Thank you.